Welcome to the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff. Oh boy, do we have a hot Thursday edition of the program here as the morning took a turn on us. It's all brought to you by Hooters. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff. We're here every day, Monday through Friday at 12:30. It's all brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you, order.hooters.com. If you're locked to the program, you haven't had lunch, order.hooters.com. They'll deliver it straight to the office, straight to the house. You can slide by after work. You don't feel like cooking. That's fine too. So the breaking news, it's no longer breaking. It's been confirmed. It can't happen officially until the league year begins next week. But as we have been talking about for what feels like weeks now, all teams are positioning themselves for salary cap space, etc. We've had quite the week with the Chicago Bears and Drew Dolman's sudden retirement, and now the Bears trade DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. DJ Moore and a 2027 fifth-round pick to the Buffalo Bills for a 2026 second-round pick. I think the return is massive. We're going to talk about DJ Moore here and what it means and everything else like that, because my guy Nicholas Moreano is in the waiting room waiting to talk. I see that the chat is absolutely loaded with a boatload of comments. I'm going to keep Nick as long as they'll let him, as long as they'll let me keep him, and as long as the Bears don't do something else crazy here during the show, because Maxx Crosby's name's still out there. We don't know if Trey Hendrickson's an option. You know, one thing I wanted to bring in before we bring Nick onto the program here. This is a tweet from Nick just not long ago, and I really want to focus here on what the first four rounds look like. The 2026 draft, the Bears now have 25, 57, 60, and 89. They have four of the top 89 picks. You see what after that, it's not really been all that big of a deal anyway, because Ryan Poles has not been all that great in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. But I think it matters, and I'm going to bring Nick here in a second. I think it matters because the Bears now have the positioning to go and get Maxx Crosby. I know that the Raiders are asking for 2 first-rounders. I'd be stunned at this point if they got it. But you could go 25 in one of those, either 57 or 60, and go get Maxx Crosby. Or would you rather keep those 4 and go sign Trey Hendrickson? We have a million questions to ask Nick. The Bears trade DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills, and we bring Nicholas Moreano in now. My guy, good to see you. It's been an active week, to say the least. The recap, your entire positioning of what you've been working on has changed since Drew Dolman's sudden retirement. But let's talk about DJ Moore, your initial reaction to the trade.
I wasn't surprised, Guff. I mean, it seemed like after the combine, there was just more smoke about DJ Moore most likely not being on the Chicago Bears team. So when you see the trade actually happen and see what the Bears are getting in return, that's what I think was most shocking about all of this. A 2026 second-round draft pick. But I think that just tells you what the Bills are in a situation where they want to win now. And they believe that DJ Moore is somebody that can help elevate that offense with Josh Allen, first-year head coach over there, and Brady. So it's like that was the shocking part. Not so much about DJ Moore being gone. And when you see the year that he had, his 8th season in the NFL, career low in receiving yards, career low in receptions. And even when go back to the first, how this year even started for DJ Moore when compared to like Rome Odunze in terms of just targets. DJ in week 1 had 5, Rome 8. Week 2, Moore had 6, Rome had 10. Moore 5 to 7, 4 to 8. It was kind of already in the early stage of Ben Johnson's offense. You're already seeing Rome had the upper hand there. And then obviously Rome gets hurt and you see what kind of ends up happening there. But, you know, DJ makes some really big plays for the Chicago Bears, but it wasn't all that surprising. And the Bears getting a second rounder is absolutely huge.
All right. So there are some people, you know, we've seen the reactions here in the last hour. DJ Moore is a dude. That guy plays. He's in the blue tent, and 2 plays later, that guy's out on the field. Watch him block. You know, he had 140 targets 2 seasons ago. He had 85 this year, 50 catches. We know their career lows. The Bears have more weapons. But I've been saying this, Nick. We've said it together on stuff that we've put out here on the recap. The spotlight is officially on you, Rome Odunze, whether you want it or not. It's officially on you. It's a huge, massive year for Rome Odunze. More so than Luther Burden. I think Colston Loveland proved what he can do. But I don't care. A tight end to me is not WR1. Wide receiver 1, you were drafted in the top 10 for a reason. Rome Odunze, the red carpet's yours, my friend. This is what the Bears did by drafting wide receivers the last couple of years. Some people looked at those as pick of arrogance. Now you see more of a plan in 2026 as to what they were doing to help their young quarterback and position a spot where they knew down the line DJ Moore was going to be too expensive for what they were trying to do to keep their roster intact during Caleb's rookie deal.
Yeah, look, the 26 or 24.5 million that DJ Moore was, you had to pay him. That's just a lot to have on your roster for a guy that was not, I don't want to say phased out, but had a diminished role, right? A diminished role in this offense. And ideally, would the Bears have liked to keep DJ Moore if the price was right? Most likely, right? You can never have too many options and weapons for your quarterback, but when you given the salary, given that he's going into year 9, it just made sense for the Bears to move on. They got some really good years out of DJ, got some really good production. And look, he was just a pro's pro. Always available, like you said, was healthy and playing through a lot of injuries. And I know the last play that, Bears fans might remember him on with the interception in overtime. But when you look beyond that, DJ Moore did a lot for this organization, for a bunch of different quarterbacks, and was here for the first 2 years of Caleb Williams' development. So the Bears are losing a piece, but they have to have faith in what they already have in the wide receiver room, the tight end room, and then even like Luther Burden. When you look at some of the stats that he had last year, when he started to come on to like the season a little bit later, like he finished number 1 in a lot of different categories among wide receivers and tight ends. And this is from Warren Sharp, who, by the way, has a great mustache, but also does great stats as well. But he led number 1 in all these categories. EPA per target, 56% success rate, 10.9 yards per target, 7.2 yards per reception, 86% accurate target catch rate, 78% overall catch rate, and target rate. Those are all number 1 in favor of Luther Burden. So talented wide receiver. I can't wait to see what he can do. Is a year 1, whether he's 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter. But Rome Odunze has to step up going into now year 3.
Yeah, I agree. And Jess there's been a lot of people agreeing with us about DJ's impact. She's saying, the media, those 2 excuses for weak performances at the start of the year got way too much grief for what is now the future of the wide receiver room. Jess, I'll say this, like, you mentioned the last play, the grief that I'll remember DJ more for the walk-off touchdown catch than I will for the last play. I really will. That last play, if you want to really, we've done the microscope on that last play. Maybe the play call itself should be in question as well, because the Bears were in position to win that football game. They were pounding the ball on a tired defense, and they got arrogant about just the play call itself. I won't remember DJ Moore for pulling off the route too early on the last play. I will not. I will remember the guy in the cheese grater hat. I'll remember the guy in his walk-off interview, starting the interview with "Always F the Packers." That's a guy who came to Chicago when there was a lot more questions than answers, a lot more questions about Justin Fields than there were about Caleb Williams. And that dude was a pro's pro. He was great in the community, but business is business. And for the Bears to pull off a 2nd-round pick, let's talk about, and I'm going to keep the comments coming, folks. If I see one that's a question that we can get to, we will. But we're going to talk about, I think we're going to sum up a lot of your questions here with some of the stuff that we're going to discuss, because now, and you look at Jess here, please, polls, get Linderbaum and destroy the Ravens. So now what, right? Like, they've positioned themselves from a draft capital. You saw right before I came on, I said, it's a real interesting decision the Bears have to make. You got 4 of the top 89. You have a heavy rush edge class here in terms of numbers, a lot of availability of edge rushers. You got a couple of premium guys available. We know Maxx Crosby's situation in Vegas. And we know Trey Hendrickson's pretty damn attractive at a very high AAV, big guaranteed money there. Which side of the ledger would you fall on? Before we talk about the center market, because I have a question about Drew Dolman more than about the availability of free agency. Which side of the ledger are you on? 4 picks and you sign Trey Hendrickson, or you take 2 of those picks and you go get Maxx Crosby?
It's Guff. I could go either way with this. And I try to read the tea leaves, what Ryan Poles says in, these press conferences where you have to weigh the short term versus the long term, and there's going all aggressive and trading those picks for Maxx Crosby. How does that affect the long term? Right now, given both those players, both really productive edge rushers, that second round draft pick is humongous in terms of what the Bears can do. And you know what? At this point, the Bears don't have that third round compensatory pick from the Ian Cunningham. It's not officially a no yet. And if that gets factored into the equation, I think that makes things even more interesting. I think right now, Guff, I'm all for going and trying to acquire Maxx Crosby. Like, you could trade some of these picks, and I don't think it's not going to be both. It's not going to be a first rounder this year and first rounder next year. I don't think Ryan Poles would do that. He shouldn't
do that.
But is there a way to 25, 60,
25, 57, or 25 and 60? And then
maybe
probably
Tremaine Edmonds, if they like Tremaine, I don't know, something like that. Does that get the job done? And maybe you go into the future like a day 3 pick. Who knows? But
yeah,
that is really enticing. Now you get one of the premier edge rushers on your defense, and you still have holes, no doubt, but you have one of those guys that opposing offenses you have to game plan for 98. If you don't, he's going to wreck a game. The Bears know that when they played the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm curious to see what the Bears do, and that's why I told you before we went live, I had a haircut scheduled. I canceled it. I have no idea what's going to happen.
There's way too much going on. You might as well punt on a haircut at least for another week.
You got the hat today. So
yeah, you might as well get past March 11th, because the idea of going to sit down and doing, I was gone during the DJ Moore trade. I checked my phone. I got 5 texts from you going, is anyone around? And I'm like, what is going on? You can't put your phone on do not disturb right now. No. It's not possible. So imagine a scenario: Bears take 25 and 57 or 25 and 60 package for Maxx Crosby. So you're sitting with a second round pick, and you got 89 sitting there as well. Okay. I think there's some safeties that would come in that draft, because here's what's intriguing. Forget about 20. If you're going to get Maxx Crosby, you've more than fulfilled the commitment to edge rusher. You get one of the best in the game, right? You maybe rework some of that deal a little bit. And then free agency is all about one thing. It really is. It's about Linderbaum. It's about it's about one of those top 5 centers we discussed the other day. You're getting one of the premier centers on the market. Okay. It's one of, I don't know if it's the best ever free agent market for centers, but it's got to be in the conversation of recent years. And then safety. Hopefully you bring back a Kevin Byard, and then you go shopping with the limited draft picks you have. I don't think there's a wrong answer in whether you keep all 4 and sign Trey Hendrickson, or go pick 2 of those and get Maxx Crosby. The Crosby thing just feels like, from a fan standpoint, a lot more people are going to be like, yeah, give me that. Give me that one. Like, this is what we're seeing in the chat. We're seeing Maxx. Trade's a win-win-win all around. Good luck to DJ. The only way I'll say it's a win-win-win all around, and this is a follow-up question to DJ Moore. Smoke says, I'm still wearing my DJ Moore to the Packer games. That guy embraced the rivalry. Does this whet the appetite to sign a short-term veteran to bring into your wide receiver room as well?
I would think so. I mean, you're also losing Olamide Zaccheaus as well, so DJ Moore. So subtract 2 at this point in time at the wide receiver room. The Bears like Jade Walker, and he could be a fine complementary piece. But I think the Bears should go get somebody else in addition to add to this wide receiver room when you're losing guys like that. And I wouldn't mind seeing them go get an absolute burner. And I don't know if that's going to come in maybe day 3 of the draft, or if you want to sign someone to free agency like that. I think would be enticing for Ben Johnson, just knowing that you have a real speed threat at the edge. You can put him in the slot, whatever it may be. But yeah, I would expect another wide receiver to be added, but not to the significance of, a premium base salary or anything like that, but a nice complementary role where you still have Luther Burden, you still have Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, like all these pass catching options. So it would be a guy that is your 5th option at most, but somebody that you definitely can add given what you're going to be losing this season.
I'll give you my dream scenario. in a second here. But Kurt, your entire, I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm not. But to sum up DJ Moore, is all you'll remember him for is that he quit on the last play. I think is there. I just don't think you're doing any service whatsoever to the player. I really don't. That guy was as good in the room and good for that quarterback in his development than any player that's been through these walls. And I know you don't have to believe that. Your eyes can see what they see. But so for you on a day like where you're saying good riddance, I'm going to go ahead and push back on that. I'm going to ask you this question, Nick, and this is what I wanted to ask you about Drew Dolman. How much did the decision of Drew Dolman to retire I'll put it this way. I'll ask you, I have a couple of questions. Was the DJ Moore trade imminent regardless of Drew Dolman's decision? Or do you feel like after that decision was made, DJ Moore had to go?
No, it felt like even before Dolman, and I don't know exactly when, Dolman had made it a point of emphasis to the Bears that he was going to retire. But it just, when you look at just the salary for DJ Moore, what the Bears had, what their whole cap space was even looking like going into this offseason, that was always a realistic possibility. So regardless of if Dolman was on this team and the reality is he isn't, this move probably just happens.
Yeah.
Right? And especially knowing that you're getting a second-round draft pick in return, and you do have to give up your fifth-rounder this year, but getting that is significant. So I don't know if how much Dolman retiring affected or impacted the Bears to make this decision. It just seemed like when you look at everything that plays into it, salary cap, the production you're getting from the player, the age that he's at, what the Bills desperately need, it just seemed like a really good combination of things for the Bears to play out in their favor.
Yeah, and DJ Moore goes to a former coordinator, now head coach, and Joe Brady, that he had massive success with down in Carolina. So you talked about a team, it takes two to tango, right? Forever and always. So the Bears go out and get a higher pick than you probably could have gotten from any other team, in a team that has one goal in mind. It's Super Bowl. That's it. That's the only thing the Buffalo Bills are talking about is Super Bowl, and they have Josh Allen. So the good thing for DJ Moore is he goes from ascending star that's finding his way into the top 8-7 of the game at the position, and he goes to the number one player at the position and becomes the number one alpha king down there. So my dream scenario I just told you about, this is prior to Drew Dolman retiring, by the way, because I don't think from a money standpoint this could work. It'd be a short-term deal. I would have traded DJ Moore, brought in Mike Evans on a very short-term deal to be like your touchdown guy. You throw it up to, and he teaches the younger guys on how to be a pro. I don't think a scenario like that is no longer in play, because I just feel like he's going to get like a 1 for 15 or 2 for 23 that's heavy loaded on the front end. I don't think the Bears can afford it. You just talked about it a little bit. I don't think they can afford a scenario where they could pay a center, Max Crosby-esque Trey Hendrickson, and 14 to 15 million on a wide receiver. You agree?
I would agree with that. I do like the idea of Rome learning under Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a freak of an athlete, but what we need to see from Rome going into year 3 is to play to his body size. Like, Rome is a bigger wide receiver. You need to see him out muscle guys when there's these 50-50 balls, even though Ben Johnson doesn't like to necessarily have that in his offense. But when there is a contested catch, you want to see Rome Odunze come down with that. So having a mentor like that would be awesome for Rome Odunze. But he's going to have to learn that on his own, because now he is the guy. He and Luther Burden. So that's going to be huge. I'm seeing in our chat here that is Adam Schefter tweeting things
this
right
one
now.
Right here from Eric.
Yes.
We gotta let's take a pause here, because
I'm not seeing anything on Schefter's timeline. So, God, that is why I'm stuck to this office for the next God knows how long, however long I need to be. But this should be a fun time. Fun, and if you're doing things not so fun, but we're in the business of
I don't see anything right now, but let's play with this scenario. Bears give up this year's first in pick 60. Okay, so 25 and 60. Next year's third and Tremaine Edmonds that's a done deal. That's a done deal.
That's a done deal. You get Maxx Crosby on your team, and every single Bears fan who is wondering what jersey to get is going to get a Maxx Crosby number 98 jersey.
I mean, Edmonds
number 98 right now. Is that
Montez Sweat? Hey, money talks, my friend. Okay, yeah. Cars, money. I think it. Dan Hampton. What if Crosby took on 99, comes to Chicago, and wears a Hall of Famer's number? It could happen.
That'd be wild. But the thing is too, not that I'm already thinking like, what does the end look like? But how long is this? Like, what, the Bears had Khalil Mack for 4 years? Is this like somewhere where it's in that run? I mean, if things go well, health bearing, like there's a lot of equations that go into it. But if you add a guy like that, the stunts and twists you can do from whoever's playing on the interior. It just all the resources the opposing offense has to throw at Crosby, which can then help out Montez Sweat, Austin Booker, Diallo Dingwall when he gets healthy, all those guys. Like, it just creates so many just options for Dennis Allen. Like, Dennis Allen would be, just one of the happiest guys on the planet Earth to get a guy like that on his defense.
Well, and think about what it does for Sweat. I mean, now all of a sudden you're pinching or you're doubling Maxx Crosby, and you free up a guy who's being paid like a number one, who did have double-digit sacks last year in Sweat. And we don't know who's playing inside yet, but this is like when you surround your cleanup, when you add a really good cleanup hitter in baseball, and now what it does to your three hole and the five hole. It's the same kind of situation when you can bring in all pro on one end, Pro Bowler on another end, and go, oh God. Like, think about game planning or scheming against this. And then we have a guy like Jay, who will always remember DJ Moore and Justin Fields because he helped him win his fantasy football championship. Oh. So you could either be Yataza, who is you're only as good as your last play, or you could go back to Jay, who will always remember the good times of winning his fantasy football championship. Just as Colston, Luther, and Rome are terrible with it looks like I just got in the middle of DJ's money and surfer attitude. Dude, that guy, look at who sat next to the quarterback every damn time when they came off the field. Look who the quarterback sat next to. It was that guy that wore number 2. Okay? Number 2. So
yeah. And you know what, Bears fans, the Bears go to Buffalo this season.
I know.
They will see DJ Moore.
I
wouldn't be surprised. That's a primetime game.
Already scheduled. Prime time. Yeah, new facility, primetime game. I've always wanted to do Bills Mafia. It feels like a recap trip, Nick.
Oh, and the wings over there, Guff. Mike. Yeah, I mean, that sounds great to me.
I've always wanted to do it. I'm going to throw this in before we get our read in. Darnell Mooney's being cut by the Falcons to free up, I believe, $18.4 million against their cap. Any shot of it? This doesn't feel right to me, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it doesn't feel right. I mean, health and the production just hasn't been the same. Obviously, like, he did some really good things in Chicago and when he first started off in Atlanta, but it just doesn't seem like, I know the Bears and Falcons have made a bunch of different trades over the years, but this just doesn't seem like a reunion where it would happen. And like I said, I don't think the Bears are going to allocate that many resources into what will be your third wide receiver and probably realistically your 4th to 5th actual passing target in this offense.
Agreed. We're getting Schefter just tweeted there's fire for Maxx to Chicago. Get it done, polls. It's between Chicago and Dallas. Unless it's in this article, I have not seen this tweet from our guy, Adam Schefter. I'm trying to read and scroll and host a show at the same time. I don't see that, but I'll put it this way. There's more than smoke and fire for Maxx Crosby to Chicago. Okay. For Maxx Crosby to Chicago. And Bubs, who's just joining us. Yeah. A 2nd round pick to the Bears for DJ Moore. Big time return, really good trade value for Ryan Poles and company. These are the type of discussions that we can have and that we will have. Because I think we're going to try to get our guy Nick there because we're going to be at Hooters on March 19th. Yes, that's right. Hooters on March 19th during the first round of the NCAA tournament. there we are. March 19th, we're going to do this fine program live at Hooters O'Hare during the first round of the tournament. We'll watch games. We'll eat great food. I'm going to have one of those mango mojitos. That's the drink of the month. I'll buy one for Nick. I got Nick's tab, by the way. We got the corporate card. We're going to take care of Nicholas Moreano. Maybe we'll take care of you guys as well. Join us. Hooters, proud partner of the Recap, and the Recap Lunch Hour will be there Thursday, March 19th. So you mentioned about canceling your haircut, Nick, and where we go from here. I don't know where we go from here because it's so fast and so furious that at this point, everyone in the league knows what the Bears cap situation is, what the Bears needs are, what the Bears draft capital is, and Maxx Crosby's name, which has been running rampant from Vegas to Chicago since the end of the season. And then this interesting scenario of the Drew Dolman situation. Mm-hmm. So as we get closer to Monday, I believe is the legal tampering period. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Which currently feels like it's already legal tampering period because of all the names that we see. I'm putting you in a spot here. What happens first? A resolution to the Maxx Crosby situation where the Bears are in or out, or he goes somewhere else, or the Raiders just say he's staying put? Or do you think the Bears act on a center?
What happens first, I think Maxx Crosby, if that is what the Bears' intentions are, that would happen first. What I ultimately think the Bears should do is prioritize putting a dude at the center position. When I just think about Ben Johnson, what he had in Detroit, Frank Ragnow was the elite centers in the NFL. I mean, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time second-team All-Pro in the years that Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator in Detroit. And then the 1 year he gets in Chicago as a head coach, play caller, he has another Pro Bowl center. I think this offense needs that. And if Tyler Linderbaum is the guy that Ben Johnson identifies, you go get him. Like, I know it's going to cost probably $20 million a year, but that
3 for 60, 3 for 60 probably. Yeah.
That position directly impacts Caleb Williams. And there is nothing more important on this entire franchise than number 18. So I think that should be priority number one. But in terms of the order of operations, Maxx Crosby is probably going to get dealt. I would think even before the new league year, before other teams start to, diminish the pass rusher options. You just want to be able to, have a bunch of suitors still available, which there is right now. And I think that would be the first domino to fall. And there's just there's a lot of smoke from every NFL insider saying that the Bears Crosby seems like an option. And we'll see if that ends up playing out here in the next couple of days.
And it sounds like from everything we've read and we know about all the flirting him and Caleb have been doing out there intentionally and unintentionally on the podcast and et cetera, that he's made it known in at least his circles. He's a guy who respects loyalty and has, pounded the pavement that he wants to be a Raider for life. But this just feels like the organization's pushing back and it's allowing him to still take the high road that he wants to come to Chicago. That doesn't always go that way. You got to pay to play. But the Bears have moved mountains in order to become a very serious suitor for Crosby. About the center real quick, because you and I talked about this the other day. I heard a great stat on the radio on the way in about the top 5 teams that played under center in the NFL in 2025, and the Chicago Bears were in the top 5. And it's like it's the Rams, it's the 49ers, it was the Bears, it was the Lions. Look at the coaching staffs in those teams. I mean, Ben came from Detroit, and then you have McVay, and you have Shanahan. Not a secret, right? That those type of play callers who are known as the best in the game like to line up under center. And if you're going to do that, you got to have a dog playing that position. And the Bears thought they addressed this position at least for the next 3 to 4 years when they signed Drew Dolman a year ago. I anticipate that they have their eye. To me, this is what I think Ryan Poles and company are doing. Let's say it's Linderbaum. He's number 1 on their list. They have 1A and 1B already set in stone, and it doesn't get below 1B. I think they have their top 3, and they will not settle for anybody less than 1B. I do not see any scenario that whatever picks the Bears have left, if they do land Maxx Crosby, that the Bears try to go out and get a center in the draft and plug him and play him. I do not see that. Do you?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good approach for the Bears to have. And I would think, too, for the centers that are looking for their next team, obviously money talks, but You're also, I think you got to look at the situation you're going to as well. Like, why wouldn't you as a center want to play in Ben Johnson's offense where it's very run oriented, run heavy? Again, ultimately money is going to be the biggest decider here. But if that factors into the equation, if you're, maybe weighing a team that doesn't have that head coach as a play caller or a head coach that has an established offensive identity like Ben Johnson has, then like if you're Tyler Linderbaum, you go from Harbaugh and the Ravens to this offense in Chicago. Like, I would think that's very enticing from a guy that played at the University of Iowa, where it's very run heavy. So just putting that out there. But yes, I think the Bears definitely have a plan in place, who they think can operate this offense, keep it rolling as Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams go into year 2 together, because they need that. They absolutely need that going into 2026.
And think about this as we get set to let Nick go here, and we appreciate your time. Think about where the Bears were a calendar year ago and where they are today to absorb this type of blow from Drew Dolman. The Bears had nothing but questions, right? Is Ben Johnson going to be able to take the jump from coordinator to head coach? Is Caleb Williams a bust? Like, those were the questions being asked a year ago. Now it's Ben Johnson's a premium head coach. The entire league knows it. And Caleb Williams is on the freight train or on the freight elevator straight to the top. And so if you're a center in the market, like Linderbaum is, who's had success in a great organization like Baltimore, all of a sudden, you don't even need to do as much research as you did 365 days ago, because the stats, the truth is in the stats. The truth is in what's being said. Watch DJ Moore's press conference, and we will, when he's introduced in Buffalo. Watch the love he gives to Chicago. Watch the love he gives to Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, etc., because they are as responsible for DJ Moore getting traded for a second-round pick as he was for the development and maturation of the Bears going to the NFC North champions. So for the Bears to be able to land one of these big dogs, I don't think they have to put the advertisement out in the front yard at Hallis Hall like they did a year ago.
Very well said there, Guff. And it's going to be, it's a good, right now for Bears fans, this is what you want. Right, this is the Bears are in contention to go get Maxx Crosby. They're in contention for all this, and they're coming off an NFC North championship with a win over the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. Like, this is a good time for the Bears to have some complicated things that they need to solve. But I think just given that you have your quarterback and head coach and knowing what they did last season, for whatever reason, I feel pretty comfortable with what they're about to do, whatever happens next.
I couldn't agree more. Last 2 things. Southside Jeff says, let's get the tables, Bills Mafia trip. You in?
I mean, if we're getting you got to go all out, right? Like, we're
not half tables. Yeah, Nick, we don't half-ass. There's no, we're not going to dip our toes in the Bills Mafia. I want all in. All right, deep end only. I don't want shallow ends.
I'll wear my meta glasses as I'm going through a table. It'll be great content. Let's freaking go.
Yeah, we won't care about the fire you jump into or the burn marks that you get. Okay, it's all about the content. All right,
all about the content.
Jeremy has laid it out there. We're kind of ending the show, and I'll have a couple more things to do here. I'm going to cut Nick loose. There's the debate. Jeremy, I appreciate the donation. We love you. We love you back. So look at the scenario on the screen there, Nick. You're picking. Regardless of the 2 centers he has named here, okay, it's Crosby, Hendrickson. I just want to go on the record here. You're packaging 2 of those. You're taking 25 and one of the second rounders and getting Crosby over signing Trey Hendrickson and keeping the 4 picks.
Right now at this moment in time, I am all in on Crosby. I am all in on the Bears going to get Maxx Crosby. So that's where I'm at. And, if that means giving up some picks, you got to do it to get great players. You need to give up something. He's one of those difference makers on a defense.
Well, look, this is shocking that we have just as much to talk about postseason and here in the off season. There's no off season in the NFL right now. There's a guy smoking a cigar and having a nice scotch. It's probably 85 and wherever it's Roger Goodell, because it's always 85 when he wakes up making the $45+ million salary he gets. The NFL is king, man. This is why other sports, I don't understand why baseball doesn't do it this way. The winter meetings should be like first week of free agency. The The next week's going to be insane. It's already insane, and the Bears are front and center at the start of it. I don't think this is the last time you and I are doing a live show this week.
No. Honestly, I'm intending for like something to happen before we like log off here, or right, as soon as I log off, where we might have to jump back on. But that's the nature of this business and why it's so entertaining and why we love it. And that's why, everyone who's tuning in, you're awesome for being here. Spontaneous, we'll see what happens. Just be tuned in, have those notifications on, and we'll go live whenever anything happens.
And make sure that if you don't already subscribe to the channel, what are you doing? Join the nearly 250,000 people that have already joined and subscribed to our channel, because then you get and if you don't click the notification bell, which by the way, you should do that too, because when new content drops, like it did prior to Nick and I coming on, because there's a new video out, a new Bears recap from yours truly, Nicholas Moreano. You'll get all of his updates. He's been cranking draft previews, then all of the combine content, and now all of the madness that's happened in the last week. If you think you're done working, my friend, you better pause that haircut. Nicholas Moreano, appreciate you joining, brother.
Appreciate you, Guff.
That guy is the best. I am so glad he's part of our recap team. He's literally one of the smartest things we've done in the 4 years we've been a channel. Nicholas Moreano here on the channel. A couple of things for those of you who are newcomers. We are here every day, Monday through Friday. We do the REKAP Lunch Hour. It's brought to you by Hooters. So thank you for joining us, because we have plenty to go. You guys are asking about membership. $2.99 a month. You've done stupider stuff today for $2.99. I could tell you. Lip Ripper says Goodell's at the beach right now laughing. There's no doubt about that. Okay. There's no doubt about this. He's just going, yep. How do we become even more relevant? Oh, just by doing nothing. Okay. Just by doing nothing. I'm just doing a quick rehash here of Twitter, just to make sure that there's nothing that we're missing. Of course, you guys are just as good as anybody when you fill me in. Let's get to a couple of our other things, like the bet of the day. Yes, there are people who come here every day for the bet of the day because we're hot as hell. That's what we do. In 2026, we're red hot. Remember I told you about Oral Roberts yesterday, and Kansas City is the worst effing team? Dude, that game was over at the half. 8.5 points. Oral Roberts, who was laying 8.5, is getting 11.5 today. It tells you how bad Oral Roberts is, but it tells you even how worse Kansas City was. The only thing that sucks is now with conference tournaments, we lose the benefit of a team like Kansas City, who is a cash cow the other way every time you bet against them. Couple of games that I really like today. Sam Houston, you guys know how I feel about them. They've been a cash cow, playing at Delaware today. Really consider doing it. But guys, Michigan's at Iowa. And I know Iowa can be a tough place to play. I know Michigan's already cashed in as the Big Ten regular season champion. This is what we do, by the way. The Aviators come on when you cash a bet. I was at that game last week against Illinois. I've seen what I need to see. Michigan's the creme de la creme. Okay. Michigan's the creme de la creme. And I'm laying the 8.5 tonight. Okay. Top Guff is back. That's what they call us here on the program. So it's possible. Who knows about likely to get Crosby, Tyler, still need a left tackle. It just seems like we are in a strong position to be serious contender. Totally agree. That is very, 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 very true. Erica's late to the party. However, now that we've freed up space along by acquiring a second-round pick, what would you do? I'm going to get a defensive end, either trading for Maxx Crosby or signing Trey Hendrickson. Okay? That's what we're doing. So we're laying the 8.5 with Michigan here on the channel. In terms of dog of the day, a lot of ways we can go with dog of the day. I was at an appointment earlier who had pamphlets for Posture Patrick, the best. They are the absolute best. I'm going to go with our friend, our pal, Georgie. You know why? Oh, look at those puppy dog eyes. Dog of the day, they've helped over 30,000 adolescents facing mental health challenges since 2020. 30,000 adolescents. It's a pandemic. The mental health crisis among adolescents, and these facilities are at capacity. And Pause for Patrick wants to put therapy dogs in these facilities full time. Your dog's a therapy dog, and your dog could be dog of the day if you email me at recapoffice@gmail.com. Recapoffice@gmail.com. Help their life-changing mission by any donation, any denomination, $1, $5, $10, whatever it might be. You can text REKAP25 to 44321. REKAP25, $1, $5, $10, whatever you can do to help this mission. Learn more at pauseforpatrick.org. So much, so bottom Guff. Okay, top Guff. I see what you're doing there, ZZ Top, and I'm not afraid to put it on the screen either. Okay. All right. Hey, ZZ Top, take your long beards and shove it. See, this is what we do. We get my peel. We get my people. The 51, the 11-year-old dog is a money pit. There's got to be some kind of healing in there as well. Nicholas Moreano, we thank him for joining the show. A lot of information there. The Bears, in case you're just joining us, when that happens, the Bears have traded DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. DJ Moore in a 5th-round pick next year to the Bills for a 2026 second-round pick. Really high return for DJ Moore. Expect the Bears to be extremely active here, even more today, in the coming days leading into next week's league year. Monday is the legal tampering period. What an absolute debacle. I mean, what is going on with the Chicago Bears? And I think, folks, what they're doing is they're telling you that they're in it to win it. Finally, last but not least, happy birthday to my baby brother. My baby brother. How's he a baby? Still always be my little brother. The best, man. I got to talk to him earlier. It's always a joy when I get a chance to talk to any one of my brothers, but my brother, Aaron McGuffey, I love you very much. Salt of the earth, human. And today is your day, my friend. The Bears traded DJ Moore on your birthday. At least we'll always have that memory that the Bears traded DJ Moore on your birthday. And let's see what it leads to. It could be, who knows? So happy birthday to my baby brother, Aaron. He is the absolute best. I mean, this is what happens. This is what I love when we celebrate good news on the show, because then we get all of this stuff. You guys are right there with you. So appreciate you guys. Jess, see you in a couple hours when the next breaking news story comes out. Pretty much. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll have any news that breaks, we will go live. I promise you. If it's relevant, we will go live right here on the channel. We'll have the Rush Hour later, and the Bulls play the Phoenix Suns later tonight. A new Bulls podcast also available on the channel as well. That is a much better gift. Oh, my other brother will be pissed about that, Pablo, but it's his day, so he could be the second best. Appreciate you guys greatly. We went long today because of the big news, so really, really good. Yes, and late Suns by 1 million. No doubt about it. We're here every single day, Monday through Friday, for the Recap Lunch Hour. Tomorrow, Friday. Friday's editions are at 1 o'clock. You guys know the rules. Friday's at 1. In case the Bears traded for Maxx Crosby, we'll break through all the funnels. We'll come right into your screen, because that's what we do. It's the Recap Lunch Hour. It's brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you. Order.hooters.com. Have the order delivered straight to your office, straight to your house. Slide by, pick it up. And remember, come to Hooters, March 19th, the first round of the NCAA tournament. This program will be live in person. Hooters O'Hare. Go out, touch some grass, take care of yourself, take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow on the Recap Lunch Hour. Woo! Big day. Take